The Empire believed it knew every enemy, every ally, every corner of the galaxy, but this ship did not appear in its history, its records, or its nightmares, because the ship came from a world the Empire never considered a threat, a world forgotten by most species, a world called Earth. Before the crew could react, the ship turned toward the listening station. It aimed no weapons, it sent no message, it simply watched, as if trying to understand who or what stood before it. Captain Luria swallowed hard. Open a channel. Maybe they want to talk. Arvin followed her order, but his fingers trembled. Channel open. Nothing happened. Then a calm voice came through the speakers. It was deep, steady, and strangely human-like, but older, more disciplined. This is Earth Defense Vessel Horizon. Identify yourselves. Captain Luria blinked in shock. Earth? But Earth is primitive, unmilitarized, lost. How? Arvin whispered, Captain, they should not be able to travel this far. The nearest Earth map is thousands of light years from here. Luria hesitated. She did not want to sound afraid, but her voice trembled. This is Empire Listening Post 7. You are in restricted space. The voice from the Earth Warship answered without emotion. Your Empire fired upon an unarmed Earth scouting team 3 cycles ago. We traced the destruction signal. We are here to retrieve what is ours. Arvin paled. They traced it? Across half the galaxy? That's impossible. The horizon remained still, but its presence felt heavy, like a mountain pressing against the void. Captain Luria tried to explain. There must be a misunderstanding. Our Empire has no record of any Earth ships in this sector. The voice replied slower, darker. We keep our records. We do not lose what belongs to us. Suddenly, the Empire's nearby patrol ships appeared on the scanners. 3 cruisers and 2 destroyers. They approached quickly, weapons armed and ready. The Empire always responded fast when unknown vessels entered their borders. Arvin looked nervous. Captain, they think the horizon is hostile. Luria raised her hand. Send a warning. Tell them to stand down. But before her message reached them, the Empire cruisers formed a battle line and locked weapons on the Earth ship. Lights flashed along their hulls. Cannons charged. The horizon did not move. The patrol commander's voice came through the station speakers, loud and strict. Unknown vessel, power down your systems. Surrender or face destruction. Arvin whispered, they don't know what they're dealing with. Captain Luria felt a chill crawling up her spine. Something deep inside her warned that this ship was not normal, not weak, not afraid. The horizon looked like it had survived wars no one had recorded. It carried scars older than the Empire itself. The Earth voice returned, now colder than ice. We do not surrender. The Empire cruiser fired the first shot. A blazing beam of energy flew toward the horizon. The listening station crew gasped. The beam hit the Earth warship Dash, but it did not even scratch the hull. The horizon slowly turned toward the Empire fleet. Its side panels opened. Glowing blue cannons emerged, humming with ancient power. Arvin whispered, Captain, we need to leave. Now, Captain Luria could not find her voice. The storm was no longer outside the station. The storm was standing right in front of the Empire, and it had come from Earth. The Empire fleet froze for a moment, shocked that their strongest cruiser shot had done nothing. Not even smoke rose from the horizon's hull. It was as if the Earth warship didn't even notice the attack. A quiet fear spread through the fleet channels, but no one wanted to say it out loud. Inside the listening station, Captain Luria stared at the display. That blast was enough to break a heavy battleship in half. How did it do nothing? Arvin slowly sat back in his seat. This doesn't make sense. No ship should be this strong. Not even the Empire's elite dreadnoughts. Outside, the Empire cruisers did not wait for an answer. They formed a tight attack formation and launched a second assault. Missiles streaked through the void, plasma beams cut across space. The horizon stood still, glowing faintly with blue light. The missiles exploded against its shields in silent bursts. The plasma beams scattered like sparks on metal. Nothing broke through. Nothing even dented the armor. Arvin whispered, it's like they're attacking a planet instead of a ship. The Earth vessel finally responded. A deep hum vibrated through the void, shaking the station's old metal walls. The horizon's blue cannon cores brightened, glowing brighter than stars. Captain Luria felt her chest tighten. Arvin, get a reading on that energy. Arvin's eyes widened. Captain, that power is above anything we've recorded. It's thousands of times higher than what a ship this size should produce. The Empire fleet commander shouted on an open channel, clearly shaken but trying to sound brave. Unknown vessels, cease charging your weapons. You are violating Empire territory. The Horizon ignored the warning. A single beam of blue light fired from one of its side cannons. It looked small, almost gentle compared to the Empire's heavy weapons, but when it touched the lead cruiser, the entire ship vanished in a flash. There was no explosion, no debris, just gone, as if erased from existence. The rest of the fleet panicked. Alarms rang across every ship. They broke formation, turning away, trying to escape. Their engines burned at full power, streaking across space in desperation. Captain Luria felt her throat close. It destroyed a cruiser, with one shot and without a trace. Arvin swallowed hard. The Empire has never seen a weapon like that. But the Horizon did not chase the fleeing ships. It simply turned back toward the listening station, silent and cold, as if waiting for something. Inside the station, the crew felt every second stretch like an hour. The air felt heavy. The silence felt alive. Captain Luria forced herself to stand straight. Open a channel. Maybe they only want information. Arvin hesitated. Captain, what if they fire on us? Luria took a deep breath. If they wanted to destroy us, they already would have. Arvin slowly opened the channel. Station 7 ready. The same deep voice returned. Calm. Controlled. Almost emotionless. We seek the remains of our lost scout. You will give us access. Arvin looked at Luria. Captain, they think we have something. But the station had nothing like that. They had no Earth remains, no Earth technology, no Earth data, nothing that matched the Horizon's claim. Luria answered carefully, Your ship may be mistaken. We have no record of any Earth scout here. Are you certain it came this way? The voice paused for a long moment. Then, we traced its last energy signature to this region. It was destroyed by Empire weapons. Arvin checked the logs again. Then he froze. Captain, 3 cycles ago, one of our border patrols reported destroying a small unknown vessel near this sector. The report said it looked old and weak, so they dismissed it. Luria closed her eyes. The patrol thought it was a smuggler's ship, not a scouting vessel. Arvin spoke softly. Captain, the Empire made a mistake. Outside, the Horizon's cannons glowed brighter. Captain Luria felt a terrible sinking feeling. They think we killed one of their people. The voice returned, this time with a hint of emotion anger hidden under control. We will retrieve what remains. We will judge those responsible. Arvin's voice broke. Captain, should we call High Command? Luria nodded, but before she could send the alert, the station shook violently. The Horizon fired another beam, not at them, but into a nearby asteroid cluster. The beam carved through the rocks like they were paper, revealing a hidden wreck. A small, broken ship drifted inside the destroyed asteroid. Arvin gasped. That must be the Earth Scout. It was old, covered in dust and ice, its hull shattered from an earlier attack. Its design was simple but familiar. The Earth vessels surrounded it with a blue energy field and slowly pulled it in. The voice from the Horizon spoke again, colder than before. We have found our fallen. The Empire will answer. Captain Luria stepped back, her heart pounding. Arvin, send a message to High Command. Tell them everything. Arvin began typing, but his voice trembled. Captain, what do you think the Horizon will do now? Luria watched the giant Earth warship silently collecting the remains of its lost scout. She felt no hatred from the ship, only judgment, only ancient patience, only power far beyond the Empire's understanding. We are standing at the start of a war, she whispered, a war the Empire never expected. And outside the window, the Horizon slowly turned toward the Empire's core systems. A storm from Earth was coming. High Command received Captain Luria's urgent message only minutes after she sent it, but those minutes felt like hours inside Listening Post 7. Arvin paced the floor, hands shaking, while Luria stood by the main window, watching the Horizon slowly drift toward deeper Empire space. Arvin whispered, Why aren't they attacking us? They could destroy the station with one small shot. Luria answered quietly, Because we are not the target. They want the Empire itself. Before Arvin could reply, the station screen lit up with the Grand Seal of the Empire. High Commander Rethan appeared, an older figure with sharp eyes and a voice that usually carried unshakable authority. But even he looked uneasy. Captain Luria, he said, explain the situation again. Our analysts believe your report must be inaccurate. Luria kept her voice steady. Sir, the Earth vessel is real. It destroyed a cruiser without debris. Its shields absorbed all our attacks. Its technology is far beyond anything we have. Rethan frowned deeply. Impossible. Earth is a primitive world. Their ships cannot even reach neighboring stars. Arvin stepped forward. Sir, this one did. Rethon did not respond for a long moment. When he finally spoke, it sounded like he was forcing himself to accept an unpleasant truth. This horizon you describe, is it moving toward us now? Yes, sir, Luria answered. Slowly but directly. Rethon exhaled sharply. Then the Empire will intercept. Stay where you are. Do not engage. The call ended. Arvin's voice shook. Sir, intercept? They think they can stop it? Luria looked out at the horizon again. Its engines pulsed like a heartbeat. They will try, but I don't think they understand what they are facing. Hours passed. The horizon moved at a steady pace. Unhurrying, unstoppable, Empire fleets assembled ahead of it. 7 cruisers, 10 destroyers, 2 capital warships, and one of the Empire's oldest dreadnoughts, the Pride of Zerion, a force strong enough to crush most enemies in minutes. Arvin watched the scanner. Captain, the Pride of Zerion alone has ended 3 wars. It has broken rebel planets. It has... Luria interrupted. I know its history. But history may not matter today. The Empire fleet tried diplomacy first. This is Empire Command, a deep voice broadcasted. Unknown Earth vessel, you are entering sovereign space. Power down your weapons and engines. No reply. The horizon moved closer. Another warning came. You are violating Empire law. Stop immediately. Still no answer. The Empire dreadnought charged its forward cannons. The energy readings spiked across the station. Arvin's skin prickled. Captain, they're preparing a full power shot. Luria shut her eyes. That blast could tear a moon apart. If they fire at full power... She didn't finish, because the Pride of Zerion fired. A beam of swirling red energy shot across space, bright enough to blind nearby sensors. It cut through the void like a burning sword, heading straight toward the horizon. The beam hit. The horizon vanished inside the explosion. Arvin gasped. They did it! They actually... But Luria didn't celebrate. She watched the scanner carefully. Her instincts whispered the truth. The blinding light faded, and the horizon stood unharmed. Not a scratch, not a mark. Only a faint shimmer where the beam had touched its shield. Arvin's knees weakened. Captain, that was our strongest attack. Stronger than anything the Empire has ever used. And it did nothing. The Empire fleets began to panic. Their transmissions came through the station in fragments. What is that thing? Our weapons are useless, requesting reinforcements. Then everything went silent. Because the Pride of Zerion attempted to broadcast a response, but its communications failed too. The horizon passed it like a ghost. Arvin whispered, Captain, if that ship wanted to, it could destroy the entire fleet with one beam. Luria looked at the horizon's faint glow as it moved deeper into Empire space. Yes, she said softly, but it didn't. Arvin swallowed hard. Why not? Luria stared at the Earth ship, feeling an answer forming inside her mind. Because whatever power they have, they control it. They are not here to conquer. Arvin frowned. Then what do they want? Luria whispered the truth none of them wanted to say. They want justice. The horizon continued its path, steady and calm, heading toward the Empire's heart, and the Empire finally realized something terrifying. This was not an invasion. It was a reckoning. The horizon moved deeper into Empire territory, slow and steady, like a giant who knew nothing could stand in its way. Behind it, the disabled Empire ships drifted helplessly, their crews staring into the void with fear and confusion. Some whispered that the gods had returned. Others believed the legendary enemy had awakened. Inside Listening Post 7, Captain Luria and Arvin watched the horizon disappear into the distance. The silence inside the station felt heavier than the vacuum outside. Arvin finally spoke. High Command will not stay quiet anymore. They will react with everything they have. Luria nodded. Yes. They will gather more fleets, more commanders, more weapons. But none of it matters if they don't understand what they are facing. Arvin asked quietly, Do you think they understand? Luria sighed. Not yet, but they will. And, soon, they heard the confirmation. The station received an urgent summons from High Command. Screens flickered, and once again Commander Rethon appeared. But this time the entire War Council was behind him. Generals, scientists, strategists, and even Empire nobles. Their faces looked pale. Rethon spoke with tension in his voice. Captain Luria, your station is officially moved to observation duty. You are to continue tracking the horizon's movements. Luria straightened. Yes, sir. A scientist stepped forward, an older woman with silver implants around her temples. We analyzed your data. The Horizon's technology is impossible. This Earthship uses energy signatures older than any Empire technology. Their shield strength and weapon density break every physical law we understand. Arvin whispered under his breath. Older, the scientist continued. We also discovered something disturbing. The small scout ship they recovered, it used designs similar to ancient Earth myths. But the energy core inside it was the same type used in the Horizon. Whatever technology they use is not primitive, it's ancient. The room fell into uneasy silence. Luria understood what the scientist meant. Sir, are you saying Earth is not advancing, but rediscovering? Recovering something old? Rethan did not like that idea. His jaw tightened. We do not jump to wild theories. Our priority is survival. The Horizon must be stopped before it reaches the inner systems. Arvin stepped forward despite fear. Sir, with respect, nothing can stop that ship. We saw it. Fleets, dreadnoughts, weapons, none of it mattered. Rethan glared. Earth is a minor world, a forgotten dust planet. It does not have this kind of power. The scientist crossed her arms. Forget what we thought about Earth. Facts do not lie. Rethan turned away, refusing to accept the truth. I will not allow panic. We will form a barrier around the capital system. The Horizon will be forced to negotiate. Luria felt a chill. Sir, what if they are not coming to negotiate? Rethan stared into the screen and spoke words that would soon echo through the Empire. Then we will make them negotiate. The transmission ended. Arvin let out a slow breath. Captain, they still don't understand. Luria replied softly, they are about to learn. Hours later, the Empire's warning broadcasts filled every station. Hundreds of fleets gathered in the inner ring, forming a massive blockade around the Empire's core worlds. It was the largest military assembly in Empire history. Every available ship, every elite squadron, every dreadnought, all ready for battle. Arvin watched the reports. Captain, this is more than a wall. This is a storm. But Luria shook her head. Storms do not scare mountains. Meanwhile, the Horizon continued moving forward, silent and unwavering. But inside the ship, something else was happening. For the first time since appearing, the Horizon transmitted a message across open space, not to the Empire, but to Earth. The first warning came as a whisper. It slipped through the void like a lost signal, too weak to alarm anyone, too strange to ignore. Deep inside the Empire's outer defense ring, a small listening station floated between silent stars. Its crew of 3 expected nothing unusual. That region of space was cold, empty, and boring, but on that quiet cycle, the station's scanners caught something impossible. Technician Arvin frowned at the flashing red icon on his console. He tapped it twice, thinking the system was glitching again. Strange. There is a power spike outside the map, like something is bending space. His captain, Luria, approached with slow steps. Bending? From where? Arvin shook his head. I don't know. The signature, it doesn't match any Empire ship. It doesn't match any known species. Luria looked at the screen. The signal grew stronger, forming a swirling pattern. It looked like a wound opening in space. Send it to High Command, right now. But it came through the same kind of gateway. The tier widened. A smaller vessel emerged, sleek, dark, glowing with the same ancient blue lights. Arvin whispered, "It looks like a messenger ship." The station grew silent as the new Earth ship activated its engines and quickly sped toward the inner Empire systems, following the Horizon. Captain Luria realized the truth. The Horizon was never meant to be alone, it was only the beginning. Earth was sending more, and this time, they were not just searching for remains, they were answering a call. The appearance of the second Earth vessel sent a shock through every Empire command center. Messages rushed across the systems. Alarms lit up entire fleets. Officers who once laughed at the idea of Earth being a threat now stared at their screens with fear. Inside Listening Post 7, Arvin leaned closer to the scanner. Captain, this one is different. Smaller, faster, but the same technology, same energy patterns. Luria studied the readings carefully. Yes, and look at its path. It's not following the Horizon directly. It's moving ahead like it has its own mission. Arvin swallowed. Captain, what if this ship is carrying someone? A leader? A diplomat? Or something more dangerous? Luria shook her head. We cannot guess. We don't know anything about Earth anymore. The two Earth vessels moved deeper into Empire space without stopping, without speaking, without changing their pace. They had come through a tear in space that the Empire could not explain. The horizon followed a slow, steady course, like a patient judge moving toward a trial. The smaller vessel traveled faster, slicing through the dark like a silent arrow. Arvin kept staring. "Captain, if Earth has more of these ships, the Empire is in trouble." Luria's voice was low. "This isn't trouble. This is a shift in power." Thousands of light years ahead, the Empire blockade waited. Hundreds of warships formed a massive protective ring around the capital system. The atmosphere inside every command deck buzzed with nervous energy. Admiral Corrin, the highest-ranking fleet commander, stood inside his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. He was known as the Iron Mind of the Empire, calm, cold, brilliant, but even he felt a strange tension in his chest as reports arrived. "Admiral," his officer said, "the horizon is approaching the outer defense ring. Estimated arrival in 2 hours." Corrin nodded slowly. "And the smaller vessel? Already past the second ring, sir. It's heading straight toward the capital." The admiral frowned. "Ignore the small one. The horizon is the true threat." But deep down, Corrin was not so sure. Meanwhile, the smaller Earthship glided past Empire outposts without attacking. It moved peacefully, almost gently. But every station it passed experienced the same thing. Lights flickered, energy sensors overloaded, and crew members felt a strange pressure, like something watching them. One officer whispered, "It feels alive." Another answered, "Maybe their ships are alive." No one knew. Inside Listening Post 7, Arvin stared at the reports. "Captain, the smaller Earthship is not attacking anyone. But every Empire station it passes is picking up strange signals." Luria asked, "What kind of signals?" Arvin zoomed in. "Heartbeats." Luria's eyes widened. "What do you mean? These ships, they are sending pulses. Slow, rhythmic pulses, like a heartbeat. And every station is receiving them." Luria felt a cold wave wash through her. "Are they scanning us?" Arvin nodded. "Yes, but not for weapons. They're scanning people." The meaning settled like a storm cloud. Earth wasn't searching for technology. Earth was searching for truth. Far ahead, the smaller Earth vessel finally slowed as it reached the capital system. Empire forces surrounded it immediately, hundreds of ships locking weapons on its hull. A broadcast echoed across every channel. "Unknown Earth vessel, you are ordered to stand down. Power off your systems and submit to inspection." The Earthship did not stop. It moved forward, quiet and calm. The Empire fired a warning shot, a plasma beam across its path. But the ship didn't even pause. It simply passed through the energy as if it were fog. Inside the Empire capital, High Commander Rethon watched with trembling hands. How is this possible? Empire scientists scrambled for answers. "Sir, the energy readings from the Earthship are off all charts. Whatever shields they use, we cannot breach them." Rethon slammed his fist against the console. "Earth has no right to march into our capital." But another voice spoke behind him, a wise old senator who rarely attended war meetings. "Maybe they are not marching, Commander. Maybe they are arriving." The small Earth vessel finally stopped in front of the capital planet. It hovered silently, facing the planet's main defense grid. Then it transmitted a message. This time, the Empire received the full translation. "This is Earth Vessel Messenger 1. We seek peaceful contact with Empire leadership. We come to deliver a message from Earth." The transmission repeated on every channel. Arvin whispered, "Peaceful? After all this?" Luria understood. They don't want war. They want justice. And they want the Empire to listen. Back in the capital, Rethon hesitated. He wanted to reject the offer. He wanted to show strength, but the horizon was still approaching from behind. Unstoppable, uninjured, calm. He had no choice. He activated the channel. "Earth vessel, state your message." The Earthship responded instantly. "We bring the words of the Earth Council. The Empire has taken the life of an Earth scout. This act cannot be ignored. We request an immediate meeting with the Empire ruler." Gasps filled the command center. The Empire ruler had not met with an alien envoy in more than a century. Rethon tried to maintain control. "You cannot demand such a thing." The Earth voice remained steady. "It is not a demand. It is a necessary step to avoid destruction." Silence filled the room. Even Rethon felt fear crawl into his bones. Arvin whispered inside Listening Post 7, "Captain, What will the Empire do? Luria answered softly. They will agree. They must. And far ahead, in the dark void between stars, the horizon continued its silent approach. The judge was coming. And the Empire was running out of time. The capital sky was darker than usual. Thousands of defense satellites hovered above the surface, forming a glowing net of red lights. Every weapon was pointed at the small Earth vessel orbiting the planet, but none dared fire. The Empire could no longer afford mistakes. Inside the main government tower, Emperor Kalar stood at the center of a large chamber. He was tall, with silver armor wrapped around his body, and eyes that once reflected confidence. Today, they reflected uncertainty. High Commander Rethan bowed. Your Majesty, the Earth Messenger is waiting for your response. Kalar's voice was low and steady. I have ruled for 20 years. I have never been forced into a meeting by another power. And now, by Earth. Rethan spoke carefully. Your Majesty, they have left us no choice. The horizon continues to approach. If we deny this meeting, we may face total destruction. Kalar turned toward the grand window. Far in the distance, a faint blue glow marked the horizon's slow arrival. Then we meet, he said. But not as equals. They will answer with respect. The council echoed the order. The message was sent. Inside listening post 7, Arvin let out a shaky breath. Captain, the Empire actually agreed. The Emperor himself will meet the Earth envoy. Luria nodded slowly. This is bigger than war now. This is history. Arvin checked the scanner again. The smaller Earth vessel is descending toward the capital landing zone. Luria stared at the screen. Let's hope they come with words, not weapons. On the capital planet, a huge landing platform opened. Soldiers filled every corner, lined in perfect formation. Cannons were aimed from the rooftops. Shield barriers shimmered in the air. Then the Earth vessel gently lowered itself onto the platform. Its engines hummed like distant thunder. The metal surface of its hull glowed with soft blue pulses like a heartbeat. A long ramp extended. Everyone watched. Everyone held their breath. And then the envoy stepped out. It was a human. A simple human in a dark uniform, no armor, no weapons visible. He walked calmly, as if he felt no fear, standing in front of thousands of soldiers and an entire empire watching him. The guards whispered among themselves, a human. They look so fragile. Is this really the enemy? The human envoy reached the center of the platform and stopped. Emperor Kalar approached with his guards, his cloak flowing behind him. Kalar studied him. You stand here without fear. Why? The envoy answered. Because fear is not needed when truth is clear. Kalar narrowed his eyes. You accuse the Empire of killing an Earth scout? Explain. The envoy lifted a small device. A projection appeared showing the destroyed Earth scouting ship, Dry, drifting in space. 3 cycles ago, your patrol fired on this unarmed vessel. Rethan stepped forward. We identified it as a low-tech smuggler ship. That was your mistake, the envoy replied calmly, but a mistake that took a life. Kalar remained silent. The envoy continued. Earth cannot allow our people to be killed without answer. We came here to speak before war begins. Several council members gasped at the word war. Kalar's voice hardened. Earth speaks of justice, yet your horizon destroyed our cruiser and disabled our fleet. The envoy stood firm. The horizon acted only in response to your attacks. It gave warnings. Your ships ignored them. A long silence followed. Kalar stared at the human envoy. Despite all his power, his fleets, his armies, this human stood before him with the confidence of someone backed by something even stronger. Why does Earth possess such technology? Kalar finally asked. You were a primitive world. The envoy looked him directly in the eyes. Earth was not always primitive. The chamber stirred. We rediscovered what we once lost. Technology from old eras. Power that is not new, but ancient. And with it, we protect our people. Kalar's expression shifted. He had never expected that. The envoy continued. The horizon is only the first. But Earth did not come here to conquer. We came to prevent the galaxy from treating us as weak. Rethan stepped forward angrily. And what do you want from the Empire? The envoy answered simply, an apology for the life taken. A promise that Earth ships will not be harmed again, and the safe return of all Earth remains. Everyone fell silent. These demands were not impossible. They were not even aggressive. Kalar slowly stepped closer to the envoy. And if we refuse? The envoy turned his head slightly toward the sky. A deep blue glow appeared above the clouds, the horizon arriving. Its shadow covered the city like a giant hand. When justice is denied, the envoy said quietly, force answers in its place. Kalar clenched his fists, torn between pride and survival. The entire empire watched his next words. Finally, he spoke. The empire will consider your request. The envoy nodded. Then Earth will wait. The meeting ended with tension that could break a world in half. But as the envoy returned to his ship, a new realization spread across the capital. Earth was no longer a forgotten world. Earth was now a power. And the Empire had one final chance to avoid a war it could not win. The horizon hovered above the capital like a silent moon, its blue lights glowing softly through the clouds. Even without weapons firing, its presence felt heavier than any army. People in the city below stared up in fear and awe. They had never seen a ship that radiated such calm and such power at the same time. Inside Listening Post 7, Arvin whispered as he watched the news feeds. Captain, everyone on the capital planet is talking about Earth now. They're calling them the Ghost Builders, the Ancient Returners. Luria nodded. Rumors spread fast when fear grows. Arvin looked at her. Do you think Earth wants to destroy us? Luria shook her head. If they wanted destruction, the capital would already be burning. The Empire Council, however, did not share her calm. Inside the palace chamber, Emperor Kalar stared at the floor while his council argued loudly. We cannot bow to Earth! One general shouted. They will think us weak, another added. We should attack before more of their ships arrive, someone yelled. Rethan slammed his hand on the table. Attack? After what we saw? That would be suicide. The council fell silent. Kalar lifted his head slowly. Enough. The Empire will make its choice now. A quiet tension filled the room. Everyone waited for his command. Kalar took a deep breath. We need more information about Earth. Their history, their technology, their return. We cannot decide in darkness. The old senator stepped forward. Your Majesty, wisdom lies in accepting truth, even when it hurts. Kalar closed his eyes for a moment. Then he ordered, bring the envoy back. There will be a second meeting. Meanwhile, on the horizon, the bridge was silent except for the soft hum of ancient machinery. The human commander stood tall, watching Empire channels with calm eyes. His officers waited quietly. Sir, one officer said the Empire has requested another meeting. The commander nodded. Good. It means they fear war more than they value pride. And if they refuse our terms? Another officer asked. The commander looked out the window at the endless stars. Then Earth will do what it must. But there was no anger in his voice. Only certainty. On the Capitol platform, the envoy stepped out once again. This time the guards watched with less fear and more curiosity. He walked into the grand hall where Kalar waited alone, without the crowd of generals. Kalar spoke first. Earth envoy, sit. The human sat calmly, hands folded. Kalar looked at him deeply. Your ship, the Horizon, it could erase my entire fleet. And yet you ask for only an apology and a promise. The envoy nodded. Because justice is not revenge. Earth protects its own, nothing more. Kalar asked, why now? Why return after so long? The envoy answered softly. Earth slept for centuries, buried under wars of its own. But when we rose again, we swore never to be weak, never to let any world harm us without answer. The horizon is a symbol of that promise. Kalar sighed. The Empire sees strength as power. Earth sees strength as protection. Two different worlds. Different, the envoy said, but both capable of peace. Kalar stood. Then hear my answer. The envoy waited. The Empire accepts your terms. We will offer a formal apology for the destruction of the scout ship. We will return all remains without delay. And Earth vessels will be granted safe passage through Empire space. The envoy nodded slowly at first, then firmly. Earth accepts this peace. The tension in the room dissolved like dust in sunlight. Kalar added softly, tell your commander that the Empire does not seek war. The envoy stood. Earth never wanted it. When the news reached Listening Post 7, Arvin smiled in relief. Captain, it's over. No war. Luria allowed herself a small smile as well. The Empire chose wisely. Arvin leaned back in his chair. Earth ships, I thought they would destroy us. But they just wanted respect. Luria nodded. Yes, and now we know something important. Never judge a world by its past. In orbit, the Horizon slowly powered down its weapons and dimmed its shields. The blue glow softened. The commander listened to the final transmission. Peace accepted. Apology received. Safe travel granted. He smiled for the first time. Good, he said quietly. Return home. The Horizon fired its engines, rising gently above the capital. The smaller messenger vessel followed. A ripple formed in space, the same strange tier that had brought them here. The two ships glided into it gracefully, and then they vanished. The tier closed. The sky returned to normal. The storm from Earth was gone. Across the Empire, a new understanding spread. Earth was not a forgotten world anymore. It was a quiet giant, awake from its long sleep. A world that did not seek control, only dignity. Arvin whispered as he watched the empty space where the Horizon had disappeared. Captain, do you think we'll see Earth again? Luria looked thoughtful. Yes, she said softly. But next time, not as enemies, as equals. The stars shone quietly. The universe calm once more. And from that day forward, the Empire carried a new lesson in its history. Even the smallest world. Arvin nodded and turned to transmit the data, but the signal suddenly exploded into a bright blue storm. All alarms screamed. The listening station shuddered like a leaf in a hurricane. What is happening? Luria shouted, grabbing onto the table. Arvin stared at the screen with fear. Captain, something is coming through. A burst of white light blinded the station's windows. The storm twisted, expanded, then settled into a still, heavy silence. Floating where the storm had opened was a warship. It was enormous. Dark metal plates covered its body, glowing stripes of blue light running across its surface like veins. The engines burned with a power the Empire had never seen before. It looked old, but not weak. It looked heavy, but not slow. It looked silent, but full of judgment. Captain Luria whispered the first word she could think of. What is that? Arvin's mouth went dry. I've never seen this design. It doesn't match any Empire files. The Empire was proud. Arvin read the transmission logs. Captain, the Horizon just sent a message through a quantum channel. We can't decode the words, but the signal is Earth-based. Luria's heart raced. They're telling someone on Earth about the Empire. Arvin's eyes widened. So Earth knows. They know the Empire killed their scout. The idea sent shockwaves through both of them. On Earth, someone now understood what had happened. Someone knew an Empire attack had taken an Earth life. Someone knew the Horizon had found the truth. And someone had answered. Luria whispered, this is no longer just one ship seeking justice. Earth itself is aware. Arvin suddenly froze, staring at the scanner. Captain, we have a new signal. Another tier opened in space. Another distortion like the one that had brought the Horizon. Luria felt her heart pound against her ribs. Is it another Earth warship? Arvin stared at the display. I don't know. The signature is weaker. Different.